Hello, team. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining. I am going to be sharing my desktop. Hello, team. How's everybody doing? Thank you for joining. I am going to be sharing my desktop. Okay, great. Thank you, those who is joining with us. I am Mushi Bhuiyan with UrbanHood. We do this every week. So if you are new with us, please read this disclaimer. Everything we are sharing, this is only for educational purpose only. I am Mushi Bhuiyan with UrbanHood. We do this every week. So if you are new with us, please read this disclaimer. Everything we are sharing. So what you are looking at, that this is the last week, the stock chart. The last week, it shows you S&P last 500 weekly performance. You can see Microsoft, Apple, Google, Amazon, Tesla, all those companies. But by looking at it, you can see what's the slowest one or the weakest one, what we see. So, but overall, we didn't have a great week last week. It was choppy, but So what I'm going to be sharing, I'm going to sharing the market economy for this coming week. So last week, this is the last weekend that we are doing for this kind of week ahead. So what will happen, that I'm going to share a few things you might want to consider for end of the year and the next year, that is going to be something totally different. So what happened this week, if you look at the facts, that S&P has over 12% gain. So this is great that SPY, those who is using the ticker SPY, has a 12% gain versus last year it has a 10% gain. So this is really good, but not so many other stock you might have in your portfolio did not go well, but there are rooms that it can go higher. So be careful. This coming year, Fed is going to be working aggressively to increase the Fed rate. If you are familiar with the CEO of Ray Dalio, he is very well known about the market. He's the CEO of Bridgewater, the largest hedge fund company in the world. He according to him, Fed is not responsible for this current inflation. So if you can see that, what happened today, the inflation, we have over almost like 6%, and how can it can come down lower this year? You might see, in order for bringing the Fed rate or inflation rate to around 2%, they have to increase the rate more than 3 times. So if that happens, market is going to be volatile. So be careful, especially those who has a tech stock and you're looking at the growth stocks. Okay, and then the other thing you may want to take a look at it, the important things about inflation for recovering. How can we it's going to be recover this inflation? Can it come down to 6% to 2%? It can, but there are so many other things that Fed is going to be doing. Currently, if you know, the last 2 years, that in order to maintain that economy and the stock market up every month, Fed is putting $120 billion in the market, buying the bond treasury and the bond and all those assets. They have been doing it. So they are going to be stopping this coming year, but it's going to be happening sooner than earlier. So if that happens, boom, the stock market is going to be shaky this coming year. So with that, also some of the things you may want to keep an eye on: digital currency. When I say digital currency, it is this crypto. Those who is into crypto, you know that USA has not decided what they're going to do, what regulation or how they're going to be embracing this whole new technology. Is the banking, is this going to be working with the side by side with the banking and so on? So it is going to be interesting to see, what happens with that regulation, but that's going to be a bumpy road. Inflation, we already talked about it. Economy growth, that what we are seeing, that economy is growing even this year, and there are projections that it can go higher, but some of the business is going to be suffering, especially those business is very means in not inflation friendly. That's going to be might have some difficulties. So if you have stocks that's a high growth, it might have some bumpy road. But if what other stocks you can look for, or what I would say, describe the staples, look at the stocks like Walmart, healthcare, that consumer foods, those type of stock is usually inflation friendly, that you might want to keep an eye on that. All right. And supply chain, as you can see, that supply chain is still struggling. Hopefully it will slow down soon, but until this whole coronavirus slow down, we cannot tell what's gonna happen. But it is a concern for a whole world, so you need to keep an eye as an investor. So next week, what's gonna happen? Asia Pac. In Asia Pac, that China is going to have their 20th National Congress, where their new president uh, she is going to be inaugurated. So this is almost like when we had our President Biden in USA and took over the White House this year in January. Same thing is gonna happen, that when the President Xi, he's getting his third terms. So when he's getting his third terms, there are a lot of leadership that also he's changing with that. So that's why you are seeing currently a lot of stocks in China market, or investors are also not confident what might happen. So this is going to happen this coming year. That with that, there are some election going to happen in South Korea, Australia, Japan, new administration going to come in. So whole Asia Pac is going to have some of the bumpy road 2022, but hopefully it's going to get better. But in Europe, EMEA market, so what's happening with the virus? So currently this Omicron virus is spreading so fast that a lot of the business is shutting down, and they are already having a lockdown, especially France, Italy, Switzerland. They already announced, and UK announced another lockdown. So that's going to affect, of course, the stock market and some of the business. So, but it'll be interesting to see how people are going to be celebrating New Year's, and what new numbers coming up, throughout this Christmas, to how many people getting sick and that. But over time, hopefully it's going to get better. So okay, keep an eye on this. And the other thing on 2022, that energy crisis that in whole Europe is having an issue with the energy, that high bill, people are paying a lot of bigger the price for the bill, and energy outage, and all the crisis is happening. And the green energy also, fossil fuel and the wind energy. So there will be a lot of reshuffling going to happening. And also that as you know, that the US um, joined to have that conversation to be leading this green initiative the worldwide. with 150 worldwide leaders. So that will affect also in Europe. So that's something you might want to keep an eye. And EU election also coming, just like in Asia, the France, Italy is going to have a new administration coming in, and Germany is going to have their new leaders is inaugurated this coming year in 2022. So that's also something is going to be interesting to see in Europe. So in America, so all the eyes are on Fed. What is Fed going to do? How Fed going to react and all and so on. So keep an eye on this one. And what else? We are going to see the Democrat that is trying to get the Build Back Better plan. That's the new initiative they are working on with 2 terabyte, no, $2 trillion of budget. That's a huge. So that's something that they have been trying for a while, and they will try to push, or they will in Congress. That we'll see. What they're going to do. But that's another huge initiative they're trying to do in 2022. And then in Washington, there is a lot of regulatory proposals are going, antitrust actions. You hear what's happening with Google and Facebook or Meta and Amazon when they're doing this consumer, the data they're sharing among each other, and Apple also, all of them, and they're buying also that some of the competition, and there are some ethical business also is not there. So antitrust action is going to be stronger this coming year. Keep an eye on that. And crypto crackdown, that you can see that a lot of people are losing money on crypto. It's just because of the no tracking and what's happened and lack of knowledge. So the more and more SEC regulation is going to come this year on crypto. So that's something keep an eye on. And then there will be a lot of oversight going to happen on buy now and pay later this year. Okay, so keep an eye on that. What else? And next, what I wanted to share with you guys, some of the stock that this coming week I'm thinking. Let me see. So let's see what's on SPY. If you look at SPY, this chart. So what you're looking at on this chart, 4 hours, you're doing day in the here 4-hour chart. Here you're looking at daily chart, and you're looking at a weekly chart. But if you see that on the 4 hours is bullish, SPY did pretty good. That is from the bottom up. It came last week, on 19th, on Monday. Since then, it's pretty good, smooth, that it is coming back up, right? Which is good. From started Friday last week, from Friday, so it was, and the whole week SPY is on upside. If you look at it, it start last 5 days every day, the SPY is was trying to reach all-time high 473. It couldn't, but still 480. It was trying to reach all-time high, but it's bullish. But if you look at a weekly chart, also it had a very strong last few weeks. It came down, and 446. It's a strong bounce. It bounced back up, right? So it is. By looking at it this week, also it might be choppy because of the short week. Monday till Friday, stock market is going to be slow. But however, this is something that you might want to see, that a lot of people may not be trading. They are all still in vacation mode, but volume is going to be very small. If you look at the bottom, also look at the weekly volumes, it's not that strong. Now, if you look at the volumes here, but it will be interesting to see what happens next 2 days. and the Friday market will be closed. QQQ, what do we see on there? On the QQQ, same thing. If you look at it, it is down and going up. So this is something you might want to answer. QQQ similar story. It could not. It was bullish on our 4 hours and daily on the daily side, and so it went. And it's pretty good. If you look at it, it's bullish. It's kept going coming up 403. It tried to be over 400 on QQQ on daily chart, and on a weekly it just small. It's not too much, but on a weekly side, QQQ is a little bit sell off. It's because of the fear, the raising the rate and so on and tag, right? But on the weekly is small, bearish. But let's see what happens this come, or it might be like choppy, just trying to stay around close to 400 areas this week. Okay. And if we look at in the small business, Russell 2000 was an IWM, iShare Trust. It has a pretty good, if you look at 4 hours, is bullish. I was surprised to see strong bullish on daily chart. You see it came down and it's ready to come back up. And the weekly chart is giving you a little bit more downtrend also, but it might be ready to this coming week. It might be sitting around 223 areas. If it is bullish, it has to be step up to 24. It has 224, 230, then it's ready to turn around. But else it might be just sitting around here, just choppy. It might be this week. Okay. Let me know if it's helpful. I'm just trying to see if I can share some of these on a weekly basis in advance, and then later on what we do, sometimes we come in on live, and some of you might be able to come join us on the live session and post any questions, comments, and I will be happy to address and then respond to you. Thank you everyone. If it's helpful, again, like it, share with your friend, and subscribe our channel. I will see you guys next week, and again, thank you for joining. Bye bye.